Hi, everybody. This is pretty cool, actually. I'm digging this, making videos. Um, I hadn't really decided to make hadn't made my mind up as to what I was going to do or not, or even why I would want to. But for right now, mostly what I'm seeing is there's an enhancement process, like an alchemical process that enhances what we talk about, who we are. Um, that I just didn't realize existed until recently. I made those other first videos about my ascension and stuff, and it just opened up all kinds of stuff. And we've kind of been in this overall pattern. A lot of us have of really expanding and elevating our awareness and our consciousness, and basically our existence. How we define our existence is changing. It's growing. It's huge. And it's definitely the precursors of ascension. It's an ascension process. It's a part of the process. um and my whole goal this last year in 2018 was to ascend. I wasn't ascend all the way, got it, but I'm realizing this process is that in motion. And it's got stuff that has to be done first. There's steps that have to go along the way, and I don't know if my steps will apply to anybody else specifically, because it's such a unique path for every one of us. We all have our only this one path that's given to each one of us. And when you get to a certain extent, it becomes totally unique. And you just kind of have to go for it on your own at that point. But up to that point, we're sharing a lot of the same stuff. And if I can get in here and just chronicle what I'm going through, it's going to be good. It's going to be real good. Um, I'm going to try to keep the video short, 15, 20 minutes long, just cover some, deeper topics, really deep sometimes. Definitely the type of stuff that's when you're fully awake in the matrix and you realize you are matrix and everything else is too. That kind of deep. Um, Near death experiences, ascension experiences that I've had personally. Um, those kind of things. It's all about me personally, really. And then sharing it and hoping, there's maybe one other person out there that can relate, you know. So anyway, I want to use this video just to introduce myself, um, and give everybody an idea of who I am and where I'm coming from with all this. I suppose the first thing is the fire. Everybody sees a scar on my face, and I'm used to it. I forget. It's almost 30 years now. Not won't be much longer, and I will be burned more than I wasn't burned in my life, time period wise. Um, it was a car wreck in 1989. A friend and I had acquired his pickup through the job that we just finished. We were contractors, and we were glad to get that truck. My partner didn't have a pickup, and I was starting the next job, and he was working on the truck, and he came by at the end of the day, and we took it for a little test drive. It had split rims on the wheels, and they're outlawed because they come apart while you go down the road. They're dangerous to change, and a lot of reasons. They were just not very good technology. And it was a 1972 GMC pickup, and for 2 years, GMC had the gas tanks in the left front fender in front of the driver. That night, as we were driving down this little windy road along the river, um, the split rim came apart. It pulled us into the guardrail, was tipped us over on the side, and on the driver's side, where my partner was driving, and we slid to a stop. It didn't seem like much of a wreck. I've been in a lot of worse, really, really worse wrecks, and walked away, without a scratch. This time we were pretty much just felt like we got turned over and slid to a stop. But I had dislocated my shoulder, and Eddie was unconscious. The driver was unconscious. We'd been good friends. He was definitely my best friend at the time. Worked together as partners in construction for years. Did a lot of growing together, a lot of booming around the country together. And now we were back home in our home state, Washington State. We'd kind of sobered up, cleaned our acts up. We're doing really well in our lives. Eddie was unconscious, and the gas was pouring out on the road by his head. I could see it through his window on the bottom. And the engine's still running. I know it's on its side. An engine's going to spark when it's on its side and it's running. I know it's just a matter of time till this blows. And I was reaching for the keys from the passenger side. So this hand got it. So it's dark. See the keys. I'm just reaching, feeling, and by about the second or third reach, it blew. And that's what basically got me, was the explosion. All this was burned from the fire that ensued after the explosion. It was everywhere, but it healed up quite a bit. A lot of this was burnt to the bones around here. My eyelid was burned off. This fingertips and this thumb were all burnt to the bone. And it was just a blast. The blast just tore everything off the bone. Anyway, Eddie come to and starts screaming, "Get out, get out." Screaming and cussing bad. The only way out is up to my window. And I'm trying to reach, but my arm would just do this. It wouldn't lift from the shoulder up. It would only raise the forearm up from my elbow. Couldn't grab anything. I'm hanging onto the steering wheel with this hand over here, trying to hold myself from falling further down on top of Eddie. And I was just frozen. I was stuck there. I couldn't let go. I couldn't use this arm. And he's screaming, "Get out," and I can't get it nowhere. And that's what I yelled back at him. I can't. Kept telling me to get out. And just those two words, I can't. That vacuum in the fire, it just sucked the air right out of my lungs. Just, and somehow, probably from all my previous life experiences of dying in a fire, a time I didn't know anything about, but I didn't breathe in. I knew not to breathe in. And so I was holding my breath with no breath. Eddie screaming constantly. And I can't let go. I can't say anything. I'm stuck there. Where me and Eddie grew up, people had grown used to us doing a lot of crazy, extraordinary things that most people just aren't able to do or don't even have, the insanity to try in the first place. But people always told Ken and Eddie stories. Ken and Eddie this, Ken and Eddie that. And that's what was going through my mind. That they were going to tell this story for a long time. Me and Eddie went together in this ball of fire. After all the things we'd done together. This is the ultimate story of all. And because of my Ascension experience, I wasn't worried about it. I didn't have fear. I didn't have a need to struggle. In my mind and my heart, I was at peace, at calm, totally resigned to crossing over and finally getting to find out for real what it's all about. And that's the way I sat there taking it, just sitting there, thinking this is it. Me and Eddie are going to go together in this ball of fire, and we're finally going to get to find out. And in that kind of like resolution, I wasn't even trying to get out. But all of a sudden, it got hot, and it started to hurt. And my body just like took over. Later on in life, I've learned how to kind of actually use this, at will in my horse training practices, where I just let my mind and my heart step out of my body and let the body operate on its own. It knows more precisely exactly what to do than our minds and our hearts can ever tell it. It has an awareness of its own. It's completely aware of its immediate environment in a very precise manner that mentally we're not able to do that well. Athletes are going to know what this is about. Dance groups are going to know what this is about. Anyway, my body just took over. It slammed my feet into the floorboard, my back up against the back seat, and I was good. I could let go with this hand. I reached over and grabbed this arm, hit the glove box button. Glove box pops open. I hold a bit, pull myself up to the window. Pick this arm up again, put it in the window, reach across, and I'm shooting out. The whole thing hasn't been 5-10 seconds. maybe even sooner. There was a force. I shot out of that window so hard that I didn't lose force until my knees hit the edge of the window, right under my knees, and I just fell out. I don't know if I was able to jump off the steering column. I don't know if Eddie shoved me. I don't know if I jumped off Eddie. But I shot out of that window. I just landed on my head and somersaulted. Fire all around the truck still. And I heard my dad's voice. We were little guys one time. He was telling us, you guys ever get on fire, you're on fire, you don't run. You lay down and you roll. And that's what I heard. I heard his voice in those two words, you roll. Put myself down and rolled out. Crossed the road. Arms all tucked up. I'm on fire. And I was out. I put myself out. Turned to see where Eddie is. You know, it hasn't been 10, 15 seconds. I'm thinking maybe I even got out before I got hurt. I'm looking to see where Eddie is. And he's already slumped over in the steering wheel. I can see him in there. He's gone. He's not moving. Just that fast. But he kept breathing. He kept yelling. I could smell myself. And I knew it was, it was pretty bad, but my eyes are burned bad. I can't see. I just hold stuff up against the firelight. I can see stuff hanging out my arms. I really can't see how bad I am. And I'm feeling around. When I got here, and these tips of these fingers, the bones on them, touched these teeth that were bare through here. It was like an electric shock. Just whoa. Oh, dude, you're Freddy Krueger. Just set your ass down before you go into shock. Set myself down the road and started singing some prayers for Eddie. That's where everything was at. Eddie's passing. Eddie's gone. And I had to leave behind. And I'm still here. I don't even know how bad I am. But he's worse. He's better, depending on your perspective. He's gone. Little quiet highway. There's not much traffic on it. His car pulled up, though. Anyways, he goes, get on the car. I'll take you to the hospital. And I wanted to go to a hospital that was a little bit bigger, could actually handle what was wrong with me. And he said, you're not going to make it. It's like 30 minutes away, 30, 40 minutes away. There's another one, 15, 20 minutes. He wanted to take me to Prosser, this little hospital. About that time, two other guys walked up. They heard the explosion from their house about a quarter mile away. So they're helping him load me up in that car to take me to Prosser instead. And they're shutting my door because I can't use my hands. And I can't see them well. And they don't recognize me at all the way my face is. They're shutting my door a little bit. It wouldn't latch good. And it would just kind of get half latched. And I'd have to tell them to shut that door again. And they're like, what? And they'd open the door, what? And I was like, God damn, I finally got pissed off. I go, slam that fucking door. And they said they recognized me then. From hearing my voice get pissed off in bar fights, they knew it was Ken. And they said, once we knew it was you, we knew it was Eddie in the truck. We told them somebody was in the truck, told them to stay with them until somebody got there. But I hadn't mentioned who we were. And they got me loaded and took off. And quite a while, I didn't feel too much pain yet. But about 5 minutes from the hospital, it started to hurt. And it was more than I could take. I told that guy driving, I go, dude, I'm going to yell. I had to hold it. Yell. Scream. Hold it some more. I couldn't do it no more. Scream some more. Finally, we get to the emergency room doors. He gets out and he opens my car door. And I beat him to the emergency room door. And I mean, like, all I could think of was I need a shot. That's all I know. I need a shot. I kicked them emergency room doors open, come flying in there, and I don't know if I'm still smoking or what. I need a shot. And everybody just freaked. This guy, he just sat here spinning circles, literally spinning circles, screaming at the birds. Get the doctor, somebody get the helicopter, somebody get the doctor, somebody get the helicopter. I was like, oh, I kicked him in the ass. Boom, I go, you get the doctor. And there's these two others, I could see them standing over there. And you get the helicopter and you get my shot. And away they all went, pew, threw my ass down on that bed there. And they were cutting off my clothes and giving me that shot. And I was giving them my phone numbers of my mom and my girlfriend. That's the last thing I remember. Next 3 weeks. Woke up in the burn unit. The rest of that's kind of a whole other story. The burn unit was probably the worst part of the experience, but we'll save that for another time. What's really kind of interesting about this is what led up to the fire. It's definitely connected to the Ascension. Once you realize that this reality is not what it seems and it's very unreal, you realize this, at that point that I had realized how unreal it is, I didn't give it much credit. And I was always vanity. Vanity really had me. And I was playing in the Matrix like I owned it. And I had gotten really good at it. It's basically manipulation. Being able to manipulate people to do things that I wanted in a way that cost them probably a lot if they'd have known, especially that would have cost them. But in a way that they just kept on loving me anyway. They just didn't know the difference. And a lot of times, for those early years of my 20s, this happened when I was 31 and my Ascension experience was when I was 21. So in those 10 years, about 8 of them were spent as a cocaine addict. Got pretty severe. For the most part, I was able to function through the first 6-7 years, but in the last year, 2 years, it was getting to where the addiction was running the show. And once I cleaned up that through the sweat lodge, a whole new kind of spiritual level took on my life. But I just empowered myself more as a manipulator than anything. Once I got my act cleaned up, didn't have the drugs and alcohol and all that slowing me down. I had it down to a science within a couple of years. And 3 nights before the fire, I'm working my little tricks. And I'm seeing it's like pushing buttons for me now. I'm coming into the prime of my life, 30 years old. 30 wasn't over the hill. The next 10 years, I was going to be in the best physical, mental condition that I'd ever been in my life. And it was going to be the best years of my life. I could see it coming. And nothing could stop me. That's what I told myself that night. And nothing could stop me. But then I met a bitch named Karma. She might not stop me, but she sure as hell slowed me down. And I know it's all directly related. Part of the process I had to go through to wake up. Look back at it now. In hindsight, it's easy to see. At the time, I had no idea. It was, first considered, this most terrible curse that I could ever imagine having to live through. But it turned into a blessing. It led me in directions and took me to places that would have never happened any other way. That I needed to have happen. And they wouldn't have happened if I hadn't have been burned. So anyway, that's a big part of that story. We don't get into more of that. The later on stuff, we'll get into that in other videos. But for right now, I just wanted to start there and kind of cover that. I'll go into a lot of topics about different kinds of stuff. I'm not sure how much time I spent on here, 18 minutes. Yeah, this is good enough right now. All right, everybody, thanks for listening.